How you choose to say things matters just as much as what you're trying to say. Take Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, for example. It's a two-part comedy of errors and one-part retooled RPG hijinks, shaken, stirred, and chilled in an irreverent medieval fantasy YA style setting. Barnes& Noble even did an exclusive edition of the book, and it's not hard to see why. The initial premise of waking up in a magic workshop, post-experiment gone wrong, with literally no memories and people immediately calling you a dark lord and evil wizard, is one heck of a strong introduction. Despite that, I find one of the main characters to be rather weak, and it's not the one you'd expect. I want to like Princess Eliasha. I really do. I love the scene of her being unmasked and revealed to be not secretly ugly or even plain, just not ethereally beautiful. She's smart and witty, a strategist and lover of tactics, trained to defend herself and held to high standards if the glamour she's forced to wear constantly didn't give that away. And while I enjoy her earlier scenes as a feisty captive, she starts to fall apart once our protagonist's secret amnesia comes to light and she's let in on the scheme. And I think the problem lies in the fact that the princess isn't as capital G good as she's presented to be. Yes, the story makes it clear she's struggling to get a passing grade in proper princessness, but we're never told to question her goodness. She's presented as our protagonist Gav's moral compass, and he normally takes her advice and rebukes in stride, even if they take a moment to sink in. She's the reason he doesn't kill an intruding hero. He risks his life to stop a dark ritual according to her strategies, and generally the princess is given credit for why Gav wants to be better. He's constantly telling her those three words every lady wants to hear: "You were right." But just because Gav doesn't question the princess's morals, and she doesn't question them, and the ensemble cast doesn't question them, doesn't mean they're not worth questioning. Because this book lays it on thick concerning expectations and how they play into society as a whole and your own individual happiness. And just like how dark wizards are expected to wear black robes and scowl, princesses are expected to be good. But does that fairy tale principle really hold up in reality? Because early on, we're shown that Princess Elisha is not flawless when it comes to morals. She's outright confused on why Gav would threaten a goblin to make her behave, and when she doesn't take the bait, he realizes that she sees the entire species as subhuman, which already at this point in the story isn't great. Yeah, the goblins are simple, but they're almost childlike in their eagerness and joy. Gav feels outright terrible about just being a little bit mean to them. And given what we learn later in the book, the princess's first assumptions come across as outright racism in the fantasy font. For another thing, she's incredibly quick to judge. Given her circumstances of being a captive, it's to be expected that she's hostile. But after Gav's amnesia reveal, it borders on cruel sometimes. Especially at pivotal moments, she displaces her anger at Gav, whether it's because he's the nearest target or he shares the face of the man who kidnapped her. Her actions are understandable, but with the story slotting her in as Gav's morality thermometer, it can come across as incredibly hypocritical. Take, for example, when Gav's happy to learn pre-amnesia him didn't kill some people. Why are you celebrating that? The princess immediately asks. Don't you know you can't make excuses for your past actions? There's no psychological benefits to trying to distance yourself from your bad choices, such as convincing yourself you're capable of growth and not completely defined by them. And there's also no reason to be happy that there's less death in the world than you had previously thought. Why would a good person be happy that innocent lives weren't lost? I'm not gonna lie, that one really pissed me off. But let's, try concrete actions. Gav tries to be a better person and asks for help, making choices the old dark wizard never would have. And he's immediately met with condescension. Why aren't you stopping other evil wizards from murdering people? It doesn't matter that you didn't do the murder you watched, you sick, evil, twisted man. She does a not apology later on when she confesses that actually evil dark lords are terrifying, so she can see why maybe someone like Gav wouldn't immediately try to stop them from doing atrocities. But that just proves the point that this was kind of a stupid argument for her to make. Okay, but let's see if there's more examples. Let's look at after Gav just does a heroic, albeit sneaky mission, and the post-mission debrief devolves into how he can prove he can change. The princess gives him the odd answer of, stop enjoying what he got from hurting people. Like he's hosting three evil wizards at his house and therefore is in so much danger if they even get a whiff that he is not fully in line with them, and he's actively trying to brainstorm how to prevent a demon from causing an apocalypse. Wow, this man has the most enviable life ever. He's got it so good. Maybe it's because the story is told from Gav's overthinking, anxious perspective, but girly, he does not enjoy any of this. Yes, he has a castle and staff and some magical books and components, but you know who else does? That's right, royalty. Given what hints we have about the princess's home life, you're not convincing me any of that royal treasury and finery was acquired through sustainable, eco friendly, fair wage labor and trade. Now, don't get me wrong, these are decent critiques on heroic sacrifices and the long journey of redemption and self betterment, but they sound goddamn goofy coming from this character, and often with bad narrative timing. A man is coming to you about stopping the end of the world and asking for some trust on this, and your response is donate your estate to the local orphanage, and then I might think you're an okay person. It takes her nearly 100 pages before realizing that insisting an amnesiac not benefit from what's essentially a really fantastical case of generational wealth might in fact directly lead to his death. If you couldn't tell, the princess as the moral compass of the story is incredibly frustrating at times. It works well in the beginning, but falls apart the longer the novel continues. This is especially exasperating because there's a much better morality keeper, our goblin chef, Olga. I believe Olga when she speaks, whether it's in full sentences or broken English to sound more minion and goblin like. She's not even told about her master's amnesia, yet she skillfully delivers the messages and themes this book so desperately wants to land. Olga has made peace with her lot in life, but that doesn't mean she's not still a victim of societal expectations. Instead of giving Gav a new goalpost that's going to move in 24 hours, she says, why does it matter? Are you really going to let other people dictate your life? Why not just do what you want to? I mean, she says it less poetically, but I believe Olga's broken English message better than the princess's speeches, because Olga says it with her chest, damn it. Both women don't say it with pity or intentional malice or as a rousing speech, but Olga manages a level of sincerity that the princess can only fake. This might stem from the fact that Gav has a much stronger friendship with Olga than the princess. I mean, every time the book starts talking about how Gav needs an ally, I wait with bated breath to see my favorite chef. Because Olga inspires kindness in Gav reflexively, even from the very start of the story when he unknowingly gives the goblin the gift of flexing her culinary skills and wearing a cute apron. Gav's care for his employees is a through line for his arc. They're the first people he's nice to, even if it's by accident. And giving up the castle so that the goblins and the villagers can have some financial security and autonomy is, at least for me, the last heartstring tugging moment of the book. The similarities between the functions of these two female characters and what lessons they're trying to impart to the lead cannot be denied. But for a book all about looking past expectations, it would have been nice if the true best friend and companion wasn't a kidnapped princess, but a goblin who stayed by your side all along. I think that would have wrapped into the novel's message better. And while this hangup likely isn't the cause behind Dreadful's mixed Goodreads reception, it does serve as a nice reminder that the vehicles behind our messages matter. Two people can be trying to spread the same message, but that doesn't mean we'll get the same results. After all, we're products of our society, and that means we'll keep telling stories in different ways.